Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the annual board meeting of the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority, February 21st, 2025. Thank you for your indulgence. We just had to hammer out some technical difficulties, so now that we were on our way, I'll invite Member Foster to read the land acknowledgement, please. Member Foster.
Thank you, Chair Metcalf. The Niagara Peninsula watershed is situated within the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Attawandaronk, and the Anishinaabeg, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, many of whom continue to work and live here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, the watershed is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. At the NPCA, we strive to further our commitment to shared stewardship of natural resources and deep appreciation of Indigenous culture and history in the watershed in many small ways every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Foster. It is now 10:15. I will call this meeting to order and ask that the clerk call roll call.
Vice Chair Beatty. Member Clark. Member Cridland.
Here.
Member Foster.
Present.
Member Grant. Member O'Neill. Member Tattison.
Present.
Member Woodavine. Member Woodavine.
Present, thank you.
Thank you. Member Seaborn. Chair Metcalf.
Present. Okay, so we have quorum, thank you. I need a motion that the agenda for the full Board Authority meeting held on February 21st, 2025 be approved. Can I get a mover and seconder for today's agenda? Moved by Member Tattison, seconded by Member Vice Chair Beatty. All in favor? That is carried. Does anyone have a conflict of interest to declare? Seeing none, we can move to item 3. So it's conclusion of business 2024 for the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. It's a pleasure to stand before you today as we reflect on an incredible year for the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. 2024 was a year of growth, partnerships, and remarkable achievements, all made possible through collaboration on every level. In 2024, the NPCA proudly acquired 5 new land parcels, furthering our mission to protect and restore natural spaces in the Niagara Peninsula watershed. These acquisitions are critical for conservation, recreation, and climate resilience, ensuring future generations can enjoy these for future years. We thank all our funding partners for their investment in supporting NPCA's successful land acquisitions. We are now 30% of our total target by 2031, and that's impressive. Last fall, not only did we celebrate 50 years of the Balls Falls Thanksgiving Festival, but also proudly celebrated the designation of Balls Falls as a heritage site. This milestone recognizes the site's historical and cultural significance. While reinforcing the importance of protecting our natural heritage, we thank the town of Lincoln for their support. In the fourth quarter, we proudly welcomed our new CAO, Leilani Lee Yates. Leadership transition could sometimes slow momentum, but not at the NPCA. Thanks to Leilani's expertise and vision and her strong mentorship of our dedicated team of staff, We continue to push forward, completing major projects and setting the stage for even greater success in 2025. Our restoration work at 12 Mile Creek is a prime example of what's possible when multiple organizations come together for a shared goal. By collaborating with partners like Trout Unlimited Canada, the town of Pelham, Niagara region, to name a few, we restored critical habitats for native brook trout, improved water quality, and set a new standard for environmental stewardship. None of this would have been possible without the support of our municipal, provincial, and federal partners. Your ongoing investment in conservation ensures that we can continue to make a lasting impact. To our dedicated staff, board, public advisory committee, volunteers, and community members, thank you for your passion and commitment. I'd like to now invite CAO Leilani Lee Yates to provide remarks on 2024 successes.
Thank you, Chair. As we reflect on 2024, I want to acknowledge the tremendous achievements that have strengthened our organization and expanded our ability to serve the communities in the Niagara Peninsula watershed. One of the year's most exciting milestones was relocating our headquarters, a move that has fostered new opportunities for collaboration, operational efficiency, and deeper community engagement. This transition has positioned us to better support our partners and stakeholders. Our integrated watershed programs have also made remarkable progress, from advanced monitoring to large-scale environmental restoration. By leveraging data-driven strategies, we have enhanced our approach to watershed health, ensuring lasting and measurable impact. The continued success of the Niagara River Remedial Action Plan highlights our commitment to restoring ecosystem health in the Niagara River. Currently, we have completed 96% of delisting actions in the current plan. By working with key partners, there are tangible improvements in fish and wildlife populations, a testament to the effectiveness of decades of collaborative restoration efforts. We also strengthen municipal partnerships, most recently through a new memorandum of understanding with the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake, reinforcing our shared commitment to the stewardship and sustainable land management at the Virgil Conservation Area. We also developed our conservation area and watershed strategies with extensive community input, ensuring our plans align with the needs of both people and nature. This collaborative approach is essential as we look to the future of conservation in the Peninsula watershed. This past year also brought significant internal growth, with team members stepping into new roles, embracing change, and driving innovation. Despite transitions, we have not only met, but in many cases exceeded our targets, and I'm incredibly proud of our team's dedication and adaptability. As we move into 2025, our momentum is strong, our partnerships are growing, and our impact is greater than ever. Thank you to our staff, board, Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation, partners, for your unwavering commitment to conservation. The future of the NPCA has never looked brighter. Together, we are rooted in resilience. Thank you, Chair Metcalf.
Thank you, CAO Lee Yates. Does anyone have any reflections around the table they'd like to share before we put the motion on the floor? Seeing none, can I get a mover and seconder to formally conclude the 2024 business year and declare the chair and vice chair seats vacant? Can I get a mover? Moved by Member Clark, seconded by Member Foster. All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. So the motion that the Board of Directors conclude the business of 2024 and further that the chair and vice chair seats be declared vacant. CAO Leilani Lee Yates will assume chair for the elections and call for the 2025 business portion of the meeting to order. Leilani?
Thank you. Can I ask the clerk for a roll call for the 2025 board members?
Member Beatty? Member Clark?
Here.
Member Cridland?
Here.
Member Foster?
Present.
Member Grant? Member Metcalf?
Present.
Member O'Neill? Member Seaborn? Just a note, I see Member Seaborn is with us, but it appears she may be. She's having audio issues, yeah. Okay, thank you. That's okay. Member Taddison?
Present.
Member Woodavine?
Present, thank you.
Thank you, and that's quorum.
Thank you very much, Manager Davis. Before we begin with the elections and appointments, I'll ask the clerk to provide a brief overview of the procedure of elections of officers as defined in Appendix 2 of our administrative bylaw. Manager Davis?
Thank you, CAO Lee Yates. So according to the Appendix 2 from the administrative bylaw, the election and appointments of officers will begin with the election for the chair, and then following the election of the vice chair. Prior to that, we will start by proposing a motion to appoint scrutineers in the event that there's a vote's required. When electing the chair and vice chair, only current board members of the authority may vote. Nominations will be called 3 times and will only require a mover, and the closing of nominations will require a mover and a seconder. Each board member nominated will have the opportunity to accept the nomination, and they must be present to accept that nomination. In the event of an election, each nominee would be permitted up to 3 minutes to speak for the office in order of the alphabetical listing of their surnames. And upon an acceptance of nominees, ballots would be distributed for board members for the purpose of an election.
Thank you, Manager Davis. In the event of multiple nominees requiring a vote for the position of chair or vice chair, scrutineers are appointed for oversight and ballot tallying process. I have a motion before you that in the event of a vote for the position of chair and or vice chair, Melanie Davis, manager, Office of the CAO and Board, and Adam Christie, director, Conservation Areas, will act as scrutineers. May I get a mover and a seconder, please? Mover, Donna, seconder, Taddison. Cridlin and Taddison, please. All in favor? Carried. Election of officers. I'll call for Oh, wait. We can hear you now, Michelle. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Sorry about this.
It's okay. Perfect. Thank you. I will now call for nominations for the chair of the authority. Only 1 mover is required. We'll confirm with the nominees that they accept the nomination. So I'd like to call for a nomination for the chair of the authority. Any nominations? Member Beatty?
I nominate Member Metcalf.
Thank you. Member Metcalf, do you accept the nomination?
I do accept.
Thank you. I'll call for a second. Is there a call for nomination for chair? Third time, is there a call for nomination for chair? Okay, thank you. With that, can I get a mover and a seconder to accept the nomination and appointment, or no, close the nomination with a nomination of Member Metcalf? A mover? And seconder? Member Seaborn. Thank you. So the motion before you is that Member Metcalf be appointed as chair of the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority Board of Directors for 2025. A mover for the motion? That was to close nomination? That was to close nomination? Yeah. Okay. Member Beatty for mover, seconder? Clark. Member Clark, thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Congratulations, Chair Metcalf. I'll call nominations 3 times for the vice chair of the authority. Can I get a call for nomination? Member Metcalf?
I'd like to nominate Stuart Beatty.
Member Beatty, do you accept?
I accept.
Thank you. I'll call a second. Call for nominations for vice chair. Call for nominations for vice chair. Can I have a mover and seconder to close nominations? Mover? Member Foster and Taddison second. And the motion before you is that Member Beatty be appointed as vice chair of the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority Board of Directors. Mover? Member Cridland, seconder. Chair Metcalf. All in favor? Carried. Congratulations, Vice Chair Beatty. Okay, moving along, we have appointments to the Conservation Ontario Council for 2025. So these appointments are the chair and vice chair with a delegate for the chief administrative officer. So I'll read the motion before you. That Chair Metcalf, chair of NPCA for 2025, and Vice Chair Beatty, acting as his designate, be the authority's voting delegate to the Conservation Ontario Council, and further that the Chief Administrative Officer be the alternate delegate. Can I get a mover? We have Member Clark and a seconder. Member Beatty, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we have appointments to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation. The NPCA board has 2 appointments to the foundation that maintain full voting authority, and 1 appointment may serve as an ex officio incapacity. Staff have received an expression of interest from the following: Member Taddison, Member Cridland, and Chair Metcalf as the ex officio. That the following board, do I need to ask for any other? No, because that's it. Okay, thank you. So the motion before you is that the following board members be appointed to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation: Member Taddison, Member Cridland, and Chair Metcalf as ex officio. May I get a mover? Chair Metcalf, seconder. Oh, Clark, Member Clark, thank you. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Next is appointments to the Finance Committee. According to the terms of reference, MPCA's Finance Committee shall have a minimum 5 members. All board members are welcome to attend Finance Committee meetings, but only appointed members will be afforded voting rights on matters before the committee. If members express interest in joining the committee later, a motion can be passed to add them at the committee. Staff have received an expression of interest from the following members: Member Cridland, Chair Metcalf, Vice Chair Beatty. Do we need 2 more? And we would need 2 more members. Great. Member Foster? A call out for 1 more to meet our minimum for Finance Committee. Seaborn. Member Seaborn, thank you very much. Okay. With that, I'll call the motion that the following board members be appointed to the Finance Committee for 2025. Member Cridland, Chair Metcalf, Vice Chair Beatty, Member Foster, and Member Seaborn. May I have a mover? Chair Metcalf, seconder. Member Taddison, all in favor? Carried. Next, we have appointments to Governance Committee. The Governance Committee shall have a minimum 5 members. All board members are welcome to attend committee meetings, but only appointed members will be afforded voting rights on matters before the committee. If members express interest in joining the committee later, a motion can be passed to add them to the committee. Staff have received expression of interest from the following: Member Seaborn, Member Taddison, Chair Metcalf, Vice Chair Beatty, and we'd be looking for 1 more member. Is there a volunteer for 1 more member? Member Cridland, thank you. Okay, I will call the motion that the following board members be appointed to the Governance Committee for 2025. Member Seaborn, Member Taddison, Chair Metcalf, Vice Chair Beatty, and Member Cridland. Mover? We have Member Cridland, seconder, Member Clark. All in favor? Carried. Now on to signing officers. Now we look to confirm the signing officers for the 2025 business year. Can I get a mover on the motion that I will call? I'll call the motion first. That the authority's chair, Chair Metcalf, and Vice Chair Beatty, the Chief Administrative Officer and Secretary Treasurer, Leilani Lee Yates, and Director of Corporate Services, Lise Gagnon, and any two of them are hereby authorized to sign, make, draw, accept, endorse, and deliver checks, promissory notes, bills of exchange, orders for the payment of money, and such agreements. Pardon? Okay. And instruments as may be necessary for useful in connection with the operation of the said account. And further, that any one of the above-mentioned officers is hereby authorized for and in the name of the organization to endorse and transfer to the bank for deposit or discount with or collection by the bank, but for the credit of the organization only, checks, promissory notes, bills of exchange, orders for the payment of money, and other instruments, to arrange, settle, balance, and certify all books and accounts with the bank, and to sign receipts for vouchers. Can I have a mover? Member Foster, seconder. We have Vice Chair Beatty. All in favor? Thank you. Carried. And we have appointments of auditors. That the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority appoints KPMG LLP as the auditors for the 2025 fiscal year. May I have a mover? Foster, thank you. Seconder, we have Chair Metcalf, sorry. All in favor? Carried, thank you. That concludes the elections appointments of officers. Thank you all for your continued commitment to the NPCA. I will now pass it over to Chair Metcalf to chair the meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Leilani, for carrying out the elections, and I look forward to serving another year as the board chair. So thank you very much, members. And we'll move on to the business now for today. So can I get a mover and seconder to approve the minutes from the December 13th meeting and closed session as presented? And the motion that the minutes of the full board authority meeting and closed session minutes of the full authority meeting dated December 13th be approved. So get a mover and seconder for that.
Member Witteveen will move that, Mr. Chair.
Member Witteveen, seconded by Member Seaborn. I think I see your hand up there. All in favor? And that's carried unanimously. So moving on to a chair's update, I'd like to take a moment and highlight some of the key initiatives, activities that the NPCA has been involved in so far in 2025. Our CAO attended the Roma conference to support the town of Fort Erie's delegation advocating for Lake Erie shoreline protection and resiliency. This is a critical issue locally, and we appreciate the opportunity to collaborate with municipal partners. Both our CAO and I were pleased to attend the Conservation Ontario event at Roma, where we participated in the official announcement of the federal funding for Great Lakes projects. Notably, the NPCA will be leading the Lake Ontario Shoreline Resiliency pilot project, working closely with Hamilton and Halton Conservation Authorities, Conservation Ontario, Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities initiatives, and many partners from these combined jurisdictions. You will be learning more about this soon. The NPCA has formalized an agreement with the Invasive Species Center to serve as the Phragmites Management Area lead for Niagara. As our part of our commitment to invasive species management, NPCA is launching an invasive species strategy pardon me, to guide the prevention, detection, monitoring, and management of priority invasive species in a collaborative, multi-partner approach. This Monday, February 24th, the NPCA is hosting a workshop to engage stakeholders and experts on the important issues. We will be joined by approximately 60 stakeholders from local municipalities, community groups, agricultural organizations, members of our Public Advisory Committee, and other interested parties. What a start to the year with so many exciting initiatives underway. I can only imagine what the rest of 2025 will bring for the NPCA. Moving on to number 8, correspondence. We have 2 items of correspondence before us today. First being from the Ministry of Natural Resources regarding the extension of direction for conservation authorities to freeze fees associated with planning, development, and permitting fees. The second, also from the ministry, is regarding the advertisement for an agricultural sector representative. Staff have prepared reports that speak to each piece of the correspondence for our consideration today. Are there any questions around the table for a motion before the motion is presented to receive the correspondence? So seeing none, so the motion that the following correspondence be received. Correspondence dated December 12th, 2024 from the Ministry of Natural Resources. Extension of Minister's direction for conservation authorities regarding fee changes associated with planning, development, and permitting fees, and correspondence dated January 7th, 2025 from the Ministry of Natural Resources regarding Conservation Authority Agricultural Sector Representative advertisement be posted. Can I have a mover and seconder to get that on the floor? Moved by Vice Chair Beatty, second by Member Foster. All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, it's Member Whitavine. Just a question towards the filling of the agriculture position. When could we see this position being filled and that member, that individual being a participating in our board?
Thank you, Member Whitavine. I'll pass that over to our CAO, Leilani Lee Yates.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the question, Member Whitavine. I have reached out to Conservation Ontario to see if they have received any further information, and what I have been notified is conservation authorities will be notified following the provincial election of appointments. So that's the information I have at this time. But we will keep you posted.
Okay, thank you for that. That's good news. So thank you again.
So right now we have the presentation. So our first presentation today recognizes the NPCA's dedicated staff. I'd like to invite Manager Misty Ferrucci to kick off the 2024 service recognition.
Thank you, Chair Metcalf. So we all here know that there's fabulous, meaningful work being performed at the NPCA. The things the organization accomplishes make a difference within our watershed and within our community, and we've all seen the positive impact that our actions have had on the natural and cultural heritage, as well as protecting people and property from natural hazards. While we promote the NPCA in our programs, what drives that success and what makes all of that possible are the people that have chosen to make their careers here by doing something that they love. Each year, the NPCA recognizes staff with significant milestone anniversaries. We do it at our staff event at the end of 2024, and we'd like to take an opportunity today to recognize individuals that have reached some of these milestones in 2024. So I'm going to go through a number of individuals. I'll ask each of the recipients and their manager to come forward for some recognition. So starting off with 5 years of service, we'd like to recognize Josie Retka. Josie is taking well-deserved vacation today, but we're still going to say a few words.
Thank you, Misty. We're delighted to recognize and celebrate the remarkable journey of Josie Rucka, who's been an indisposable part of our team for the last 5 years. Her dedication, hard work, and unwavering commitment to excellence has left a lasting impact on everybody that she's worked with. Josie's been leading the maintenance of our western properties, which includes some challenging properties like Bimber Conservation Area, and dealing with unique scenarios like literally bathrooms being burnt on fire. Josie has taken the initiative to beautify our parks, such as like adding gardens and greenery at Cave Springs, and they absolutely look fantastic. I hope Josie can journey with us is far from over, and I want to congratulate Josie on her 5 years.
Also celebrating 5 years, we'd like to invite up Brent Cumming.
Hey, Brent. Brent has been a valuable member of the NPCA for the last 5 years. Brent's done a variety of jobs, and there's often not a task that Brent cannot do. In an attempt to improve departmental collaboration within our organization, Brent routinely helps out other departments and supports a variety of jobs within the organization. And seeing I often get requests for Brent by person, I'm taking it he's doing a pretty good job. Brent recently took on the manager of land care and operational infrastructure with the NPCA, and I look forward to working with Brent to improve all of our passive conservation areas over the next few years. So congratulations, Brent.
Our next 5-year recipient, often behind the scenes, and is off today, but we want to recognize Rob Petrullo for 5 years.
Thank you, Misty. Today I'm honored to recognize Rob Petrullo, our incredibly talented multimedia marketing specialist, for reaching his 5-year milestone with NPCA. Rob's dedication, creativity, and attention to detail have played a vital role in shaping NPCA's brand and visual identity. From the striking new logo, launched in 2023, to the Balls Falls Thanksgiving Festival's 50th anniversary rebrand, Rob's work has elevated our organization's presence, making sure that we always put our best foot forward. His expertise in graphic design, branding, video, and photography can be seen across all of our platforms, whether it's the high-res photography that you see on our website or our social media channels, the beautifully crafted NPCA and Foundation annual reports, or the signage that welcomes you to conservation areas. Rob's work isn't just about making things look good, it's about telling our story in a way that resonates with our communities. His passion and commitment to excellence ensure that every piece that he creates reflects the heart and mission of NPCA. Beyond his professional contributions, Rob is a dedicated family man. He couldn't join us today as he is busy cheering on his daughter at her gymnastics competition. For Rob, his wife and 2 beautiful daughters are his greatest inspiration, and we also take this opportunity to thank them for nurturing his creativity so that he continues to bring fresh, innovative, and exciting ideas to work. Rob, we thank you for your hard work, vision, and dedication over the past 5 years. You literally make us look really good, and we are grateful for everything that you do. Congratulations on this well-earned milestone.
All right, next up, celebrating 5 years, Kathy Coverdale.
Thank you, Misty. So Kathy joined the NPCA family in November of 2019 as a business and financial analyst and earned a well-deserved promotion to finance manager in 2024. From the moment she arrived, Kathy has been a force of nature, implementing major improvements that streamlined and modernized our financial systems, officially dragging us into the current century. Thank you, Kathy. Adapting to her role in the public sector with ease, Kathy has become an indispensable member of the corporate services team and my right hand. She's unflappable, calm under pressure, well, unless certain auditors are involved, and known for her quiet confidence and exceptional insight. One of Kathy's many secrets to success may be summed up by the sign in her office. Never underestimate my ability to find stuff out. If that doesn't scream perfect accountant, I don't know what does. Here's to celebrating Kathy's incredible contributions over the past 5 years and looking forward to another 5 years of her exemplary performance. Thank you, Kathy.
And not to go too far, celebrating 5 years as well, Lise Gagnon.
I was asked to edit the original speech I gave at the staff day, so so here we go. So Lee's joined us in 2019, and within the past 5 years, she has led the review and improvement of our corporate and financial policies and processes. She's been instrumental in redirecting our organization through key budget, procurement, IT, and finance process improvements, and has set us on a course towards tremendous financial growth from a budget of about 11 million to now we're at 16.6 million. Thank you, Lise, for always taking the time to meet with our staff, coach them through financial processes, and supporting our impactful work. Congratulations on 5 years of service with the NPCA. If anyone's interested in the first speech, I can share that in private.
Celebrating 10 years of service, David Deluce.
I was asked to edit this one too. You should come to our staff days. So David joined us in 2014 and has grown professionally within the organization from a supervisor of development and reviews to senior manager of environmental planning and policy to becoming our new director of planning and development. He's been an integral part of a management team that is focused on improving our policies, processes, and client relations and bringing innovative best practices to our planning department. Thank you, David, for your leadership, mentorship to our staff, and keeping us laughing. Congratulations for 10 years.
Our next 10-year recipient is not present today, busy getting his park ready, but Michael McIntyre.
So Mike started the NPCA in 2014 and has really done a bunch to grow Long Beach Conservation Area. When Mike started, we had 84 seasonal campsites in 2014, and since then we've grown it to 146. Mike has played a crucial role in improving the park in so many ways, but also a lot in infrastructure-wise with a brand new playground, restored boat launch, new washroom building on the north side, and has also turned Long Beach into our highest revenue generating park. On a more personal note, we do our seasonal staff surveys, and I came across a quote that one of our seasonal staff put for Mike when reviewing him. "I've never worked for somebody who remains as positive and level-headed as Mike," which I have to be honest started to make me question the personal relationship I have with Mike. So needless to say, congratulations, Mike, and look forward to continuing to grow Long Beach Conservation Area.
Celebrating 15 years, Jeff Fazekas.
Jeff started at Balls Falls and then went to Long Beach and then went to Chippewa and then went back to Balls Falls, then over to Gainsborough, now supporting all of our parks, including St. John's Center Conservation Area. Needless to say, Jeff's knowledge of all our conservation areas is invaluable and often relied on by all of our staff, including myself. Recently, Jeff has supported many NPCA projects as the capital projects coordinator within the Conservation Authority. And one that stands out to me is all his improvements to St. John's Center Conservation Area. I think this was a property our staff and a lot of us weren't very proud of over the last few years. And now it's something we don't hesitate to show off. So congratulations, Jeff. I'm looking forward to continuing improving the parks.
We're going to keep going, moving on to 20 years with the NPCA. Mike Boyko.
Okay. Mike started at the NPCA as security at Long Beach and Chippewa 20 years ago, and then became a laborer at Chippewa Creek. In 2008, Mike became the assistant superintendent at Bimbrook and proceeded to be the superintendent of Binbrook in 2014. With Mike being in an elevated role at Binbrook since 2008, he has significantly contributed to the growth and development of the conservation area. Mike's dedication and hard work has been instrumental in transforming Binbrook into a well-maintained and NPCA's most profitable conservation area. Mike has also been crucial in improving the park's infrastructure in so many ways. Mike, congratulations on 20 years.
And we have another 20-year recipient, Tara Gady.
It is my honor to recognize Tara for 20 years of service. 20 years ago, we literally hired her out of the convocation line at Niagara College, owing to her tremendous passion for the environment and conversation. It's probably one of the most memorable phone calls I've ever made and one of the best professional decisions as well. This enthusiasm and her diverse skill sets have been essential over the years, helping build NPCA's GIS system, developing NPCA's existing watershed plans, advancing natural heritage system science in the Niagara Peninsula, and most recently leading NPCA's watershed natural asset analysis and valuation, offering new insights that define how we view nature. In her current capacity coordinating research in support of our watershed strategies and climate initiatives, Tara continues to lead innovations that enable the authority to offer meaningful watershed-based resource management recommendations and solutions. Please congratulate Tara for her 20 years of dedicated service to local conservation and watershed management.
Those are our service recognition awards for 2024. So congratulations to all of our staff, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Misty, for bringing this forward today and giving us an opportunity to celebrate staff accomplishments. Are there any questions at this time? I need a mover and seconder to receive the presentation. Motion that the presentation regarding the NPCA Employee Service Recognition 2024 be received. Can I have a mover and seconder for, moved by member Seaborn, seconded by member Tattison? All in favor? That's carried unanimously. Yes, thank you to our long-term employees and the dedication and enthusiasm you bring. It's for the team at the NPCA. It's great to see the recognition that and the enthusiasm and the dedication that the staff brings. So, congratulations, and I'm very proud to be a part of this as well. So the year in review video, next I will invite CAO Leanne Lee Yates to say a few words and present the NPCA's 2024 year in video.
Thank you, Chair Metcalf. It's an honor to share with you our year in review video, which has become a tradition for us here at the NPCA, and it showcases our incredible year of progress, collaboration, and conservation at the Conservation Authority. 2024 was a year of momentum, one where we strengthened partnerships, advanced key projects, and remained steadfast in our mission to protect and restore the watershed. From expanding protected lands and launching enhanced restoration and monitoring initiatives to engaging communities in conservation efforts, every success we've achieved has been made possible through the dedication of our staff, the support of our partners, and the passion of our communities. So before we look ahead to the opportunities of 2025, let's take a moment to celebrate our accomplishments of the past year. This video captures milestones, hard work, and the impact we've made together. I hope it reminds us all why we do what we do and inspires us to keep pushing forward to the future of conservation here in our own backyards. So let's please take a look.
I'd like to thank CAO Leilani Lee Yates and the communications team for putting this together. It's remarkable to see what the NPCA has accomplished in the year. Here's to another year of deepening our roots and connecting with our watershed partners to advance conservation efforts across the peninsula. Are there any questions or comments around the table before we receive the 2024 year in review video? Oh, yep, Leilani, go ahead.
I also want to recognize our former CAO, Chandra Sharma, for all the work that she's done for the authority and really pushing us to where we are today in this new office in our reorganization of the authority. So thank you to Chandra for the mentorship and the leadership.
Great, thanks Leilani. So the motion before us that the 2024 year in review video be received. Can I get a mover and seconder to get that on the floor? Moved by Member Tassin, seconded by Member Foster. All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Moving on to item 10, there are no delegations. Number 11, consent items. We have two consent items before us today. Report number FA-05-2020-25 speaks to the correspondence received earlier regarding the agricultural sector representative advertisement, and report number FA-02-25 covers Minister's Review and Minister's Orders under Conservation Authorities Act. I will look for a mover and seconder for these two reports. So the motion that the following items be received. 11.1 report FA-05-25 agricultural sector representative advertisement posting, and section 11.2 report number FA-02-25 Minister's Review under section 28.1 and 28.1.2 of the Conservation Authorities Act and Minister's Orders under section 28.1.1 of the Act. Before voting to receive these items, are there any questions on the contents of these reports? Member Cridland.
Oh, thank you. Through you, Chair. I think maybe just building on what Member Whittevan had mentioned earlier, do we happen to know at the Conservation Authority level if we know that there are applicants from our watershed to this position? So I think in the past maybe there wasn't the uptake, and so I believe there's been a lot of outreach, but is there any sense or comments on whether we know that we have some watershed representatives that have actually put their name forward? Thank you.
Thank you, Member Cridland. Not to my knowledge, but I'll pass this over to our CAO. Maybe she has some more insight into it.
Unfortunately, I don't know more. It's very much controlled through the province at this time. But in some general discussions, I've heard people are interested. It also coincides with the call for PAC members for an agricultural representative. So there were several members that contacted our office about the PAC recruitment, and they were also informed about the provincial posting. So we're hopeful that there's been some good interest.
Thank you.
Chair Metcalf, it's Member Whittevan. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Albert.
Okay. Just an update from my end. I was notified by the president of the Ontario Federation of Agriculture that this was happening. So we had a conversation, and we did encourage a couple on the ground farmers to submit their names so that they could. I guess we kind of juried, who would be the best fit for the conservation. So I actually encouraged a bee person, a large bee operator, to put his name forward. So I thought that would be a good mix for the conservation and bring that knowledge and skills to the authority. But it will be up to, obviously, the minister to appoint that representative. So I have followed up with MP Oosterhoff, and if he's successful, hopefully he will have some say in that choosing of that appointment. So that's my update. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Witteveen, for encouraging, the applications or the applicant to apply. So looking forward, again, it's in the hands of the province, and I guess we'll know more at the 1st of March after the provincial election. So I've read the motion. I need a mover and seconder to open that up to get it on the floor. Could I have a mover? Moved by Member Cridlin, second by Vice Chair Beatty. So all in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item 12, discussion items. So we have 12.1, report FA-03-25 regarding the 2025 fee schedule amendment, planning and permitting fees. And I'll invite Director DeLuce to provide a brief overview of the report and proposed fee schedule amendments. Or, hang on, maybe not.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As what's happened in the past couple of years now, the province has frozen the planning and permitting fees, I guess as part of their initiative to help reduce the cost of housing. And that has been carried over again for the year of 2025. At this point, that means that our planning and permitting fees are froze where they are. Fortunately, before that the original freeze took effect, we had updated our fee. We did a comprehensive review of our planning and permitting fees. So we did bring them up to essentially full cost recovery at that time. So the only, if you will, gaps that have been occurring over the last now 3 years are just simply cost of living increases. So I'd be happy to take any questions at this time.
Thank you, David. Are there any questions around the table for staff? Member Cridlin.
Thank you, through you, Chair. So again, just hearing that it's not as significant or a material amount at this point, but it is continuing. I'm just wondering, is there any direction cumulatively for this, Conservation Ontario portfolio? This is a significant amount, and I'm wondering if Conservation Ontario might take this forward, or we could discuss whether or not this is something to take forward, obviously post-event, to perhaps maybe collect some of this back once the success of the housing has settled down or something like that. Again, just a small amount of effort to something this size, but if it continues to freeze, maybe it's something we can capture, because it all goes to the levy. Am I right? Thank you.
Defer that to our CAO.
Thank you, Chair. There has been much discussion with Conservation Ontario and the other general managers and CAOs. Some conservation authorities, the gap is much larger. So they weren't as lucky as us to get in that comprehensive review in time. So some of them, their fees have been frozen to say, 2015 numbers, right? So some of them are really seeing that gap widen, and this is a matter that we have been discussing on how do we communicate that. Like you said, take the stats, take the information, tell the story, paint the picture of how that's been impacting conservation authorities. So that discussion continues at the CO level.
Are there any more questions regarding the fees? Member Clark. No, I can't get my... Okay, Member Clark, we've lost audio again. Just bear with us here for a second. I believe it's on his end. He's going to have to troubleshoot something. Okay. Member Clark, try again.
Testing. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Now?
It's
Give us
Albert.
one
I can.
moment.
Oh, I can hear you, Brad.
Just bear
It's
with
Albert.
us, Member Clark.
Thank you. Thanks, Albert.
Member Clark, try again.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Testing? Testing? That's so odd.
Yeah, just bear with us again, Member Clark. Just
Everything looks good from my end. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Member Clark, okay, go ahead.
You can hear me now? Oh my goodness, this is too funny.
We can hear you chuckling now, Brad. So,
there we go. That's
yes.
good.
All right.
Good thing I wasn't swearing.
All right, go ahead, Member Clark.
I just have a quick question. So I understand that the fees have been frozen for planning and permits. One of the things that I heard in my community is concerned that they were being made up by other fees that conservation authorities are charging. I was under the impression that most were simply putting it to the levy with the member municipalities and not making up the loss in revenue from an increase in fees otherwhere. Is that correct?
Thanks, Member Clark. I'll defer that to our CAO.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. For us, we aren't collecting additional fees or hidden fees to make up for that shortfall in revenue. As you know, this freeze continues, if it should continue, and we're not able to, particularly with inflation, add that cost of living, because in the past couple of years we were able to really get to a good point of full cost recovery, and now we're at the point where we're going to lose that inflation recovery moving forward. That would mean we'd have to look to the levy. We don't recover through other fees for planning and permits. It's just those fees.
Thank you. It's just important for our members who are enjoying our facilities to know that just because the provincial government froze our fees in certain areas, we didn't offset that freeze on the backs of members and their memberships or the fees paid at the gates. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Clark. So the motion we are seeing, is there anyone else with questions regarding this? Seeing none. So the motion before us, that report FA 03 2025 fee schedule amendment, planning and permitting fee be received, and that the amended 2025 fee schedule outlined in Appendix 2 of report number FA 03-25 be approved, and with an effective date of January 1st, 2025. And further, that the amendment 2025 fee schedule be made publicly available pardon me, on the NPCA website. Can I get a mover and seconder for that to come on the floor? Vice Chair Beatty, Member Tatterson, thank you. Call the vote. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. So now we have report number FA0125, revised Niagara Peninsula Conservation Administrative Bylaw. Next, we have a report outlining proposed changes to the administrative bylaw that has been endorsed by the Governance Committee. I'll invite Manager Davis to provide an overview and answer any questions members may have. Melanie, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Through you. Folks who are members of the Governance Committee will recall that the draft administrative bylaw came to committee for consideration back in November, though not the first time that it was discussed at the committee throughout the year. We've had a number of discussions around kind of the shaping of this bylaw and where the priorities were to increase some flexibility and transparency and efficiency. Was a follow-up from the Governance Committee was indicating that the administrative bylaw does note that the review of the bylaw would trigger a review of the per diems and honorarias noted. So that's one new addition to this report you're seeing today after doing some comparative research on other conservation authorities in Ontario. We've brought forward a recommendation for the board's consideration to implement a cost of living allowance increase of 2.25% for the per diems and the honoraria. And we're also recommending that a cost of living allowance motion be brought forward at AGMs moving forward for the board's consideration, should they be interested in directing staff to implement that. The administrative bylaw largely focuses on cleaning up the administrative bylaw for housekeeping changes, so you'll see a lot that the sections may be numbered differently, or there's some organizational changes, but the principles and the merits of the bylaw really maintain the same, with some changes to the scheduling of the AGM to allow for any changes in that date if there are emergency situations that would require to do so. Just would be requiring a motion of the board, and making changes to remove that ex officio status from committees in terms of reference, which was passed by the board through a motion back in 2023. So we're just entrenching that within the bylaw now. And that covers the majority of those changes of note, but I'm happy to take questions if there are any.
Great, thank you, Manager Davis. Are there any questions for staff regarding proposed administrative bylaw changes? Good, seeing none. So the motion before us, that report FA01-2025, revised Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority administrative bylaw be received, and that the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority administrative bylaw be approved. And that a cost of living increase of 2.25% be applied to Board of Directors per diem and honorarium rates to come into effect as of January 21st, 2025. And further, that staff be directed to make the approved Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority administrative bylaw and approved per diem and honorarium rates publicly available on NPCA's website. Can I get a mover and a seconder to get that on the floor? Moved by Vice Chair Beatty, second by Past Chair Foster. Thank you. Are there all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 12.3, report FA04-2025 regarding delegation of authority under the Conservation Authorities Act. This report seeks direction on delegation of authority to senior staff related to the issuance and cancellation of permits. I will open the floor to any questions that members may have. Now, seeing none. So the motion before us, that report FA04-2025, delegation of authority under the Conservation Authorities Act, be received, and that the board delegate authority under section 28.4 of the Conservation Authorities Act to the manager, environmental planning and policy for the issuance of section 28 routine and minor work permits beginning February 21st, 2025, for the terms of their employment with the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. And further that, the board delegate authority under Section 28.4 of the Conservation Authorities Act to the Chief Administrative Officer, Secretary, Treasurer, and Director, Planning and Development for the cancellation of a permit unless a hearing to the authority is requested, beginning February 21st, 2025, for the terms of their employment with the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. So can I have a mover and seconder to get that on the floor? Moved by Member Taddison, seconded by Vice Chair Beatty. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 13, committee reports. There are none. Motions, section 14. There are no any motions brought forward to the board's consideration today. Seeing none. New business. Verbal update, Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation. Member Kidlin.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, just briefly, again, wanted to acknowledge and thank this board for its support on my appointment to the foundation today. And also thank Member Taddison for his continued service on the foundation. It really helps that we've got this kind of perspective around the board table there. And just to note, we have built considerable momentum over 23-24, but there's a lot to look forward to in 2025. So thank you. I look forward to bringing forward future reports.
Great. Thanks, Member Quidlin, for that update. And yeah, having participated at some of the events, it's great to see the uptake and enthusiasm. So seeing that, section 17, closed session. There is no closed session items on today, so I'll look for a mover and seconder on a motion of adjournment for the annual general meeting. The motion that the full authority meeting of February 21st, 2025 be adjourned at 11:30. Mover and seconder, moved by Member Taddison, seconded by Member Vice Chair Beatty. All in favor? That is carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and apologies for the technical difficulties, but we got through it, and look forward to our next meeting. Thank you.